Hello. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Happy Self-Care Wednesday. Happy Wellness Wednesday. I haven't seen you guys in about a week and a day. Listen, I was not going to jump back out here on these social media books, platforms that fast. Because I was still trying to come down, honey. I was still trying to come down. But I'm here today. Hello, hello. I wanted to drop in for a few moments. Don't want to hold too much of your time. I might come back in again later on this weekend. Just depends on how things are going. But I wanted to come on. Miss Lady, what's going on? Where you been? I wanted to come on this evening for a quick moment and share some words with you, which I'm telling you, it just seems like this topic right here has been something that's been like weighing in on me probably since the retreat, right? I've already, have a passion about it anyways, about the importance of, people just really healing from, their pain, their, the emotional distress, just dealing with, that hardship and those challenging times in marriages. Like I already, be feeling some type of way about it. Y'all see all this grease around my lips. Sorry. And so I was like, I gotta do something about this. Okay. Well, it ain't gonna stop doing it. It ain't gonna stop. Life gonna keep on lifing, honey. And then I found out this is Mental Health Awareness Month. I'm like, oh no, I gotta go back on and talk to the people. Okay, like I gotta talk to the people because this is got to be addressed, right? This has to be addressed. So welcome. My name is Coach T. My name is Coach T for some of the ones who may not know me, for some of the ones who may come back on the replay. I am Coach T. I'm a mental health wife coach and a marriage consultant. I help wives who are going through a marriage separation or a marriage challenge, who are struggling with husbands who are maybe addicted to alcoholism, drugs, maybe in adulterous relationships. They're dealing with mental and emotional distress. And I help to transform that wife into a healthier version of her by helping her to first confront, her grief, confront, some of those things that she's dealing with, but then also help her to seek out her other earthly assignments. Like, she got work to do. She a boss. So she don't have time to be just sitting in this, in this low place. And so I help wives in that area to, boss up, to get better on this journey, even while trusting God to heal their marriage and bring a husband to a place of deliverance and salvation. All right. And so welcome. And abandonment. That's right. And abandonment. The wives who have been abandoned, honey, baby, you don't even know. A lot of wives are abandoned and their husbands is right there in the house with them. It is one of the hardest things that a person can deal with. I'm telling you. So today I wanted to check in with you. Mainly, I want to check in on your mental health. How you doing with that? How are you taking care of yourself? How have you been prioritizing yourself? How have you been navigating through this journey of life, or where you are now on your journey, where you are in in this season of your life with these new changes? A lot of us are in new seasons and new eras. A lot of new things are starting to take place. A lot of shifts have begun. Transitioning has been happening, and so life is lifing for a lot of people. How y'all doing with that? Like, what's up? How y'all doing with that? I was in my small group on last night, And, one of the questions, that I'm always asking them each and every month is like, how are you taking care of yourself? Like, how are you prioritizing your mental health? If you ain't doing nothing else, you got to make sure that you're taking care of you. And I'm always amazed after hearing some of the ladies' response, even especially some of the ones who, have been married for, a long period of time, with the ones that husbands are in the, inside the homes, and how a lot of times these ladies are not taking care of themselves, right? They're just not taking care of themselves. People are not taking care of themselves. And I'm trying to figure out, what is you doing? Right? I'm just trying to figure out, what are you doing? And so I wanted to just come in and check in today on your mental health and see what you got going on, because like I mentioned, this is a mental health awareness month. And I just wanted to bring to you some of the seriousness about checking in on your mental status, right? Especially after going to the retreat, sitting down with the doctor, having a conversation with the self-care strategist, and them just, sharing some gems about the importance of taking care of your well-being and why the enemy is fighting so many from getting to this, this self-care place. It's like it's so serious. And when women, wives, get to a place and they realize, like, this is not just I'm dealing with my husband in the natural, but it's a spirit that's behind this, just trying to keep me from me, having this time with God, or me, having this time to relax, or me having this time to, to chill, or me having the time to just kind of like turn my brain off. Like, it's something else connected to that, right? And then, even a lot of, times I'm dealing with, with some of the single ladies where they just like, they have to be constantly doing something. They like they can't be still. They got stuff going on. They constantly moving around, trying to fill in voids and things like that. It's like, why? Why is that? Why is that? And it's a reason for that. All right. So studies have shown that the majority of the world is dealing with some type of mental illness. Studies show that majority of the world is dealing with some type of mental illness, especially ever since the COVID situation had happened. Like, COVID just turned and changed everything around when it comes down to, you taking care of your mental health. And so people are dealing with this stuff, right? People are dealing with this stuff. People are shutting off God, and they're taking their own lives. They're taking their own lives in their own hand, or they are literally taking their lives physically and they exiting out of here. Okay. Many people are operating in chronic depression, and they are not even fully aware of what they are dealing with. They have been so immune to, oh, this is just how it is. Oh, this is just me. Oh, this is just my normal. Oh, this a pass. Oh, this happens and comes like this certain times of the year. Oh, I deal with these certain things. It's like, don't just keep patting that down and just, shoving that up underneath the rug. Like, this have to be addressed. These things need to be addressed, and I mean ASAP. Okay, I mean ASAP. It's time to make some changes and to get serious about the healing that is necessary, that is required for you to do well in this thing we call life. Not just in your relationships, not just on the job, not just socially, but just in life in general. It's like, you got to make sure that you good. You got to make sure that you good before you can even do anything else for someone else, or get to, whatever else that you need to get to next. If you're not good, ain't nobody else gonna be good, honey. Okay? Ain't nobody else gonna be good. I was sharing with with the self-care strategist. Actually, I was telling her, how I had an extra day at the hotel after the retreat, and baby, I was just like, I need to like go back and just stay for a weekend without having to do anything. It was the most, like, my sister had left, the kids had left, I was good, and so my helpers had left. I was like, I could get used to like just doing this, like taking me a weekend away and being able to like really just check in on me. Like, just sit here, watch TV, put your feet up, sleep in, don't answer no phone calls, don't, respond to no emails. Like, just really check on me. It's so very vitally important in these times that we're in that you're doing that. All right. 3 John 1 and 2 says, Beloved, I pray that in all respects you may prosper and be in good health, just as your soul prosper. Many people are dealing with an injured soul. Their mind, their emotions, their will, everything is all out of whack, and they're trying to figure out what's wrong with me. What's wrong with me? when really, in actuality, all they really need is to sit down and talk to somebody about how they're feeling, what they got going on, be able to articulate these things, say these things out loud, and heal, okay? Like, healing takes place in communication. There are 3 C's of grieving that I want to share with you. Choose, connect, and communicate. Choose, connect, and communicate. Healing doesn't fully start until you make a decision to do these things. You have to choose to want to do better or want better for yourself. You have to choose to make a decision like, I'm going to do something for myself, all right? You need to connect with the right resources, okay? God is your source, and he has his people here on earth as resources. You need to connect with the right resources so that you can start your healing journey. And then you need to communicate, articulate what you feeling, what's going on with you, what you thinking about, what's been on your mind, what's bothering you, who bothering you. Are you dealing with torment? Are you in pain? Are you dealing with suffering? Do you sleep well at night? Like, what is going on with you? These are some of the things that you have to start addressing, because too many people are trying to just, I'm going to just, get me a little something, give me a little sleeping pill, and I'm going to just lay it on down, all right? And that's it, all right? And so it is time for you to take this journey about healing seriously, okay? It's time for you to take this journey seriously. Grief is a huge problem that's taking place in the world today, and a lot of people are not grieving well, all right? I had read this article online that says the grieving process is an important part of healing, and learning to adjust to life without someone you love so deeply. That's just if you lost someone, from a physical place. But sometimes people are dealing with grief, like a lot of the wives who are going through a marital separation where they're not in the homes with their husband, or they are in the homes with their husband, but they're still living a separate life. All right. And so learn to adjust to life without someone you love so deeply, first and foremost. And it's important to recognize your feelings, give yourself time and space to grieve, and take care of yourself afterwards. It is time for you to go through your grieving process. And a lot of times people don't want to go through that process because some people, I speak to so many wives who say, well, I'm not a crier. Like, I ain't no punk. Like, I ain't up here just crying and, I ain't no softy. And it's like, that's fine. But sometimes you do need to grieve, and sometimes grieving is not necessarily just tears. Sometimes you just need to talk some things out, write some things out, be able to let somebody just hear you type of thing or whatever. And so these things need to start taking place. Myself, I say this. I say one of the hardest things to grieve is a person who is still alive and well, right? But you're not able to reach them. Whether it be because of a separation, divorce, addiction, abandonment, an adulterous affair, because they're choosing a life of sin, or just because they just don't want to do life with you no more. And that's a hard reality to itself, all right? That's a hard reality to itself. Oh, well, what's the problem? Can we go fix it? Can we work it out? No, I just don't want to do this with you no more. No, I'm just tired of being married. I don't want to be a husband no more. I don't want to be a father no more. I don't want to be responsible. I don't want to be held accountable. I don't want to, have to pay bills. I want to just do what I want to do with my own money and just live like I want to live and just go and be a free person. Like, what? Who does that? Right? Like who does that? And so sometimes dealing with those types of things is very, very hard. And it's very, very hard to accept, especially if it is someone like a husband, right? What about the ones who are dealing with the ones that, have children, your adult children who have made decisions to do certain things that you as a parent, like, that's not going to be good for you in the end, but they're not listening, right? They're not listening. And then the very thing that you thought would happen and you told them that would happen happens. And now you're having to sit there and accept the reality of what they're going through. And because they're grieving and they're hurting, it makes you grieve. It makes you hurt, right? Dealing with the reality of, your children who are now, you had small kids. Now you have, bigger kids who don't necessarily need you anymore. Dealing with the reality of, hey, I'm getting older, or hey, I've been on this job for 20 something plus years and I'm tired of doing it. I want to do something else. Like, grief is a big thing. Grief is a big thing. Okay. And so I say, yes. Oh, so I read that part. Okay. So, and if I'm honest, this is where a lot of idolization happens, right? This is especially in marriages, especially for the wives who are going through a marriage separation or dealing with something very hard. A lot of idolization happens because individuals are in a state of shock for too long, and they had not made a decision to change their narrative by getting the necessary help. Too many people have been in this place of, I can't believe he did that. I remember when things used to be like this. I remember when we used to do this kind of stuff. Oh, I remember back in the day, things was like this. It's like, what happened? What went wrong? Did I do something? What happened? And so many people stay in that place, and so many people stay in that position for so long until they don't even recognize that they are now idolizing. They are not idolizing this marriage, and God is so not okay with this. And so instead of you getting the help that you need for yourself, you're trying to find an answer. You're trying to figure out what went wrong. You're trying to figure out, like, what can I do? How can I fix this? How can I, bring these things back to, where it was before? How can I go back? How can I do this thing over? And it's like, you have to learn how to grieve certain things, deal with that moment of shock, and then be able to grieve through it, go through that process in the most healthiest way. Okay. So this is where a lot of that takes place. I think I shared with you guys, early on that Retreat Her had sent me into therapy, right? It had sent me into therapy because not just retreat, because I'm not ungrateful for the assignment. I appreciate God giving me the assignment, but Retreat Her was more so of it just awakening so many other things that was happening, that I was unaware of. And the people, including family, that lashed out at me during this time, it really threw me off, right? It really threw me off. And so because it was something new, and because I was dealing with all the backlash from family members, I was really, really like, man, like I done had issues in my own marriage, but like this coming from this side, like that was different for me. And so just going to therapy to be able to walk through some of those things, I'm telling you, it made a huge, huge difference. It was something new, and I needed to talk through it in a healthy way, right? Many of the wives I coach don't recognize that they are dealing with a loss, right? They don't recognize, because they think, well, my husband is right here in the bed next to me, or, he's here in the house with me. We just don't talk. We don't communicate. We don't have sex. We don't touch. All communication between us is negative and toxic, but, he's still here. And it's like, that's a loss. Like, that's a loss, ma'am, right? And so a lot of times these wives don't realize that they're dealing with a loss, all right? And that's hard, right? That can be hard. You have to figure out, like, man, what am I going to do about me? How am I going to take care of me? All right. When a man has made a decision to jump ship and just completely abort his home and his responsibilities, that can wreck a family, right? That can turn the trajectory in that home upside down. That can bring on different type of emotions, especially for a woman to have to even deal with, or have to even walk through. That's hard, right? That's hard. And this is why it's so important for you to make sure that you're prioritizing yourself and taking care of yourself. Because a lot of times women, we got that extra power where we feel like, I got this. And God like, no, you might want to go and, take a little break, because you don't even know it. You don't see it because you don't feel it yet, but your blood pressure is rising up. You don't even know it. You don't see it yet, but your hair is falling out. You don't know it, and you don't even see it yet, but you're not really sleeping that well at night. You're not really getting it. You're going to sleep all late times of the hour. You really need to see about that. You really need to talk that through, right? And so a lot of times women can just just keep going and thinking like, nothing's wrong, and not even realizing that you need to get yourself checked in. You need to check on yourself. Grief can cause a variety of effects on the body, including increased inflammation, joint pain, headaches, digestive problems. It can also lower your immunity system, like make you get sicker quicker than usual, making you more susceptible to illness. Grief can also contribute to your cardiovascular problems, difficulty sleeping, and unhealthy coping mechanisms. Y'all gotta check on yourselves. All right. This is a big deal. If it wasn't a big deal, why they gave us a whole month to address it? This is a big deal. Dealing with the reality of where you are on your journey and dealing with that grief is important. At the Retreat Her, we use a lot of words that start with R. Words like reconnect, restore, realign, replenish, rejuvenate, redefine, rebuild, renew. Redefine is actually a new word. Rebuild, renew, reclaim, reincorporate. That's a new word. Like, and this list can go on and on and on. Re means to do it again. to do it again. And a lot of women, a lot of wives have to come to a place where it's like, I may have been in one season was doing this and like, you know, I was all right. I'm good now. I'm past that. But you might need to do it again. you might need to go check in again. You might need to go through another curriculum. You might need to walk through another system. You might need to go to check in with that provider again. You might want to go do another reevaluation on yourself just to see where you are and what your numbers are looking like. Okay. It's time for ladies to realize that grieving is a very important part of stewarding themselves as Christians, and God holds you accountable for stewarding yourself. All right. God is not okay. He is not okay with you having ongoing aches that you have not checked in on. He is not okay with that. All right. Some wives have to grieve the fact that their marriages was a tragedy from the beginning. Like it was a whole tragedy from the beginning. Some wives have to agree that their husbands, you know, have been cheating for their entire marriage. He was never faithful. All right. He came in the door with lies. Some women are grieving the idea of not being able to bear a child or bring a child into the world. Right. Some women are grieving the idea of, you know, being alone and not being married. You know, I'm getting older. My time clock is, you know, ticking and I'm still in this same place and I haven't, you know, accomplished much. And, you know, I don't have a husband. And it's like, girl. Okay, because having a husband is not the end of the world. Okay, it is a bonus. It is a great, but it's not the end of the world. All right, but some people are grieving that, right? Grief is a real feeling that needs to be addressed. Okay, it's a real feeling that needs to be addressed. And I think just recently I heard about the sad story of the lady from Florida who was in an abusive marriage, not necessarily physically, but mentally and emotionally. She was being abused. And she took her own life. Like, this stuff is really, really happening. And it's like, when are you going to wake up and realize that this is not for play? The enemy is very, very strategic in trying to take people out in this way. And the reason he's trying to take people out in this way, because he knows coming for your mind, that's where your creativity is. That's where your vision is. That's where, you know, God gives you, you know, that plan. Like, all those things are coming from the mind. And so his job is to stop that. His job is to interrupt that. His job is to, you know, just shut her down before we even get to the next place. Because if she can be creative and come up with this, or if she can use her mind and think of this, or if she has a vision and God give her this vision and she actually do these things, man, I'm in trouble. So you have to make a decision, woman, wife, to prioritize yourself, right? That was a very, very sad story about that young lady. And she was a very, very pretty woman for her to take her own life like that because of what she was dealing with, right? Don't know the whole, you know, the whole story, the odds and ends of it. But the ending result was she took her life, or she's no longer here. She left her family. She left her children. You know, that's a hard place to be in. And so it's like, you got to make sure that you are nurturing you on this journey. You got to make sure that you're taking care of you. Ain't nobody going to treat you like you. Ain't nobody going to take care of you like you take care of you. Like they say, ain't nobody going to treat your baby like you treat your baby. Ain't nobody going to treat you like you treat you. It's important that you take care of yourself in this season. All right. It's so important that you take care of yourself in this season. God is not okay with it. All right. He's not okay. His word tells us in what 1 Peter, cast your cares onto me because I care for you. Like cast that stuff on me. Don't carry that stuff around. What in Philippians, be anxious for nothing. Get rid of that stuff. You don't got no reason. Don't worry about Matthew. Don't worry about tomorrow. Don't worry about what you're going to eat. Don't worry about those types of things. Don't worry about that. I got you. And we have to get better at that as Christians, right? We have to get better at that. And again, this is not to take away that, that life happens, sometimes and when disappointment happens, when you've been believing, you've been trusting God, and you've been, standing on his word, and then it don't go like the way that you thought it was going to go. That's hard to come back from, right? And you have to allow God. You have to, at that moment, give your heart to God so he can help you to rebuild and get back to that place and be honest with him. Lord, that hurt. Lord, I really was thinking that this was going to go this way. Lord, I really thought it was going to be this way. Lord, I'm not really feeling this faith thing right now. You got to help me, right? I'm not really feeling how this is going. I really need you to speak something to me to help me get back on this place. If I'm honest, God, I'm having doubt in this area. If I'm honest, God, I'm struggling in this area. God can handle your truth. He can handle your truth, right? And you have to get to a place where you are being honest with God, because he already know. He already know anyways, all right? Like I said, I had a wife client recently who shared with me, all the mean things her husband was saying to her and doing to her. And I'm like, ma'am, that man is not well. So why are you still in his face? Separate yourself. Oh, well, we were trying to do separation, and you can be in the same house with somebody and separate yourself. You can say, okay, I'm going away for the weekend. I'm taking me a couple of days off. I'm gonna sleep in the other room. Don't bother me. You can do that. You can call the police and ask the police to intervene on your behalf and let it be known that, listen, I have asked this person to be over there and to leave me alone. If they cannot leave me alone, you're going to have to escort them out of this house. Now, nobody wants to go, oh, don't call the police, don't call the police, don't call the police. But if you are in an uncomfortable situation that could possibly cause you your life or get you in trouble or something else happen, yeah. People have to learn how to apply wisdom, right? You have to learn how to apply wisdom. Why would you sit there and let somebody just be talking to you all kind of sideways and you just sitting there like, oh, okay. No. Separate yourself. The Bible says separate yourself from evildoers. That's evil for a person to be talking to you all nasty and sideways out of their neck, and you just sitting there going along with it. That makes you a fool to sit there and be going along with it. Separate yourself, even if you're inside the home. And if you're inside a home and you're not comfortable with somebody, get out. Get help. Do something about your situation. If you're not in a position where you can do that, then intervene by calling the police, getting a report, and saying, listen, I don't feel comfortable with this person. I need them to either be escorted out of the home, one, or for them to be over there. It's written, it's documented that has been written and taken place. Like, do something different about your situation. Don't just keep sitting there and just going along with something to go on with stuff, and you're uncomfortable. If you're uncomfortable, you need to do something about you being uncomfortable. Hello. All right. Geez, look. Some people are grieving jobs they no longer want to be on. Come on, Jesus. All right. They're grieving their careers that they're in. They're grieving their financial issues. They're grieving, just a change in life. They're grieving their age. Grief is happening, and people need to learn how to deal with it. People have to learn how to deal with the importance of grieving their reality. Like, the reality is this where things is right now. How do I keep on living and going through life right here in this place, right? Jesus had a simple conversation with the lady at the well, and she was healed. She was healed. He just had a conversation with her. He's had a simple conversation with her, and she was healed. Who are you talking to? How are you healing? What are you grieving in this season? What are you going through? Who's bothering you? What emotions that you're struggling with? What negative emotions are taunting you? Are you dealing with torment? Are you dealing with unforgiveness? Are you dealing with not being at peace? You need to grieve, right? You need to grieve in this season. And so I share all that to share because recently, it's not something new. It's actually something just, a continuation of what I'm already doing. But I have put together a self-care assessment to help you confront the areas of grief in your life. All right. The goal of this assessment is to help you learn more about your self-care needs by spotting patterns and recognizing areas of your life that needs more attention, right? We want to put the spotlight on your mental health, your emotional health, your spiritual health, and your physical health, right? Self-care includes all these things, right? It includes all these things. The 4 dimensions of that, like I just mentioned, emotional, physical, they have psychological, but it's mental as well, and spiritual health, right? And so I have, did a continuation of what I already do, but I am now in a position where I want to help not just a wife, but also single women, right? I want to also help the single woman in this area when it comes down to the self-care part, right? So I'm offering 3 consecutive sessions to both wives and single women to help them get a full understanding of where they are mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. Listen, we are going into the summer months. This is the best time to prioritize yourself. This is the best time to work on yourself. This is the best time to get into a healthy place for yourself. I know everybody be like, hot girl summer, like here we come. All right, the summer is right around the corner. It's time to turn up and get loose. All right, and I know everybody want to do that, and there's nothing wrong with that as long as you stay in the realms of holiness. Come on, Jesus. All right, stay in the realms of stay in the realm of holiness, healthy and holy, and you are right. But part of that hot girl summer is, listen, bounce up and work on you. Level up and see about your mental state. Level up and see about something different in your life this time, right? Level up and do something different for yourself in this season, okay? And so for some of the ones who are already coached, or you probably saying, Coach C, is this something that I can take? Is this something that, that I can take? If you have taken the Herbonity boost, then you've already taken it. You already have had this. You have already had this. But if you have not taken a Herbonity boost and you have been just checking in, then yes, this is something that you can do. This is something that you can do. All right. I'm offering, like I said, 3 consecutive sessions back to back. It's 1 90-minute assessment, 1 60-minute of accountability and support, and then 1 60-minute of evaluation plus some tools to take with you. It does come with a set of resources, 2 books that I use for my clients to help them on this journey, to help them to recognize and be able to spot where am I on my journey when it comes down to my mental health, my emotional health, my spiritual health, and my physical health. All right. This is an investment of $750 plus the cost of your books. All right. And so you can sign up for that. You can sign up for that right now at www.marriagechroniclesbytanika.com and start doing your work. Okay? Start doing your work. It is time for you to prioritize your mental health, your emotional health, your physical health, your spiritual health. You're not going to go to too many places or too many, one of the things I found out last night from one of the young ladies in the small group was, when a lot of times, and this is why a lot of times people don't like to go and get their mental health check or do a mental health check-in or whatever, because they say they report that information, I guess, to the government. And some people just don't want that on their records, right? This is why it's so good that you can invest into a coach. We don't take insurances. Coaches don't take insurances. This is I'm an independent provider. So you have to pay out of pocket. The only payment plan that I have available is through PayPal. And PayPal has a lot of they have helped a lot of my clients in that way, where you can do like a set up a 4, I think it's called 4 for 4. You can set up a 4 for 4 payment plan where you don't have to pay everything all at once, right? You sign up, I send you over the invoice, you send it, over to PayPal, see what they offer you, and then you make arrangements with PayPal. Don't limit yourself on, well, I don't have the money for this, or I can't do this. Like, don't limit yourself in that. Like, this is a time for you to take heed to these things. There's a thing, one of these ladies that I work with blessed my entire soul today. Oh my gosh, she blessed my entire soul, okay? And one of the things that she said to me that was so profound was, She said, when things are starting to happen in your life and, things are starting to move in your life, God is going to open up doors and make a way for you. Come on, Jesus. God is going to open up the doors. And I'm paraphrasing it, but it was something to that effect. Like when it's your time, God is going to open up doors for you. But it's important that when he opened up those doors, you have to make a decision to walk through those doors. So many people be like, I don't know. I'm not sure yet. Can I think about it? It's like, no, go through the door, because that door may not necessarily always be open. That opportunity may not necessarily always be there. If you know in your heart of hearts that you need to prioritize yourself and you need to talk through some things, and everybody don't understand what you got going on. I'm talking to my wife now. Everybody don't understand your story. Your pastor don't understand you. Your counselor don't understand you. Your therapist don't necessarily understand you. Your mentor don't necessarily understand you. You need to connect with somebody who can understand what you got going on. All right. And that's what these sessions are for. These sessions are to help you to confront what you got going on, how you're taking care of yourself in the self-care in the self-care area, and to give you some tools and things that you can walk through to help you get through that. All right. I think that probably the total of it will probably be $800, maybe less than $800. But you getting all these, one of the things about me, when I give information, I give stuff to you, you have it for a lifetime. Some coaches be like, oh, I'm going to share, give you stuff, and you only can have it for like 6 months or for a year. And then, it's not going to be available no more. No, you pay for it. It's yours. it's yours. And now I'm trying to incorporate where, I do the Zoom call so that you can actually have the actual, the video, the recorded message. So you have the recorded message, you have your summary, you have all the, information that was given to you. So you can go back and look over the stuff for yourself later. It's not like, oh, I got to rush and go through all this stuff because it's not going to be available at a certain time. No, I hate that. I think that's just like, I don't pay all this money and now you tell me I don't have it for a lifetime. I got to use it by a certain time, or I don't have it available no more. No, you have it for a lifetime. When you get anything with me, you have it for a lifetime. It's yours. You paid for it. You purchased it, right? So if you're in a season and you're ready to prioritize your mental health, your emotional health, your spiritual health, and your physical health, I want to encourage you to sign up for this. These 3 sessions will do you well. All right. They would do you well. Sign up today. You can do that at www.marriagechroniclesbytanika.com. If you're not connected with me on my email, get connected with me on my email list. And so during that time, I may share, different things that's coming up. If you have any specials or anything coming up, do that. But right now, this is something that I'm offering. Take advantage of this type of support. This is a very, very inexpensive offer. This package normally is $1,500 plus. I'm cutting it in half. All right. I'm cutting it in half. So take advantage of this now if you want to be part of this. Okay. You can sign up www.marriagechroniclesbytanika.com. In the meantime, y'all go do something that you enjoy doing. Go take care of yourself. Go fill your own self up. Go figure out what your love language is. Go get on somebody's curriculum. If you're ready to start your work at her Bonus Boost, you can do so today as well. www.marriagechroniclesbytanika.com. It's time for women, for wives, to get busy with their other earthly assignments. Heal so you can do your other earthly assignments. All right. Y'all take care of yourselves. I love you. I'll see you on the other side. All right. Blessings.